Day, and we will actually let me text Westoff. Welcome in, everyone, to Media Day here at the 2025 Division I Women's National Team Indoor Championships. We have about 10 hours of fun content ahead as we prepare all of you college tennis fans for the action ahead. And as part of our way of doing that, I want to speak with as many head coaches as possible today. First up, a man whose team can only be best described as on the rise. Obviously, a man you all will know best as the LSU women's tennis head coach, Taylor Fogelman, joining us once again. Coach, it is always good to see your smiling face. Good morning to you. How are you and the Tigers feeling as we get ready for this weekend?
Yeah, good. We got in late last night, so I'm a couple of coffees in already. But yeah, now excited to be here. Looking forward to a great event.
No, I like that. Your equivalent of coffee is I go coatless from car to door, and it wakes you up like that.
Yeah,
When
fair.
that breeze hits you, yeah, exactly. So I am ready to roll, and I appreciate you going first. And just for college tennis fans who may be new to this sport, they saw Diana Schneider and Navarro on the pro circuit, and they say, hey, what's this all about? Can you explain the national indoors to them, why this event is such an important part of the college tennis calendar?
Yeah, I mean we have an interesting calendar as it stands anyway. You have a huge run up to the NCAA's in the fall with that change, but then you have Christmas break. A lot of teams are bringing in new players. The people coming off a holiday break, so it really is, I think, a great spot in the calendar to test yourself against the best in the country. See what you're doing well. See what needs improvement. And it's just a really fun, arduous, elite event that we're excited to be a part of.
No doubt about that, and it does feel like it's the ceremonial start to every new season. Again, the ultimate litmus test for every team, and for your group, so many new faces. You're still pretty young in your tenure as well. To get to this final 16, to get to this final site, what does it mean to you? What does it mean to your program?
I think more for the ladies than me, and really our school, our administration, their belief in what we're doing. We have a interesting mix with young kids, old kids, but nobody's ever been to this tournament. So for them, all the hard work that they've put in, the belief they have in what we're trying to build at LSU. I'm just super happy for them to be a part of this event.
No, and I think everyone across the college tennis universe is excited to get to see your team compete here this weekend. And obviously, we are now about a month into this college tennis season. Assess the first month for the LSU Tigers. If you were to hand out a letter grade, what would you grade your team's performance here in 25?
Team A, coaching and schedule, close to an F. We've had just a super busy first month. We've gone literally coast to coast. We started out in California, a couple very tough matches at San Diego, then went to all the way across the country a few days after that to Gainesville. So we haven't been in Baton Rouge, it feels like, all that much the first month. But the ladies have handled everything in stride, and each match seemed to be playing a bit better.
Yeah. No, and I think we've seen that in the results, certainly. And for you, the kickoff weekend, to go down to Florida, get wins over Miami, Florida programs that are obviously always in the mix. What'd you learn about your group in those two matches? What would you say is your team's biggest strength so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think we introduced a lot of really half the starters, at least to this point, are new people who have never done the college tennis thing before. So I think it was certainly a trial by fire for them a little bit. We have some experience through the middle and back end of our lineup that have been through the wars, so to speak. So I just liked it's a new group. We've had a lot of people in a lot of different places, so getting them together and gelling, that part was probably what I was pleased with the most. And then, like I said previously, I think our level of play from the San Diego match, really through our last match against ULL, I think each one of the ladies is just starting to play a little bit better and better.
As you've been building your program, Obviously, recruiting is such a big part, but I'm curious for you, is the emphasis on technique, principles you like to bring to your team, to your players, or has it been more about setting the foundation for culture and what you expect from your team, how to compete? Have you balanced those two early in your tenure?
It's a great question, and I don't even know if I found the perfect balance it just yet. I think for me, I try to treat everyone, as does anybody in my staff, like fairly.
Sure.
But we are playing a very individual sport. The
Mhm.
cool part now is that you get into a team format and a team concept, which I think a lot of these kids miss out on through junior tennis and
Sure.
then going into the professional ranks. And so that part is awesome. But I think the way that we go about the training with each one of the ladies, whether it's on the court, whether it's strength and conditioning wise, whether it's nutrition, whether it's tournaments, we do in that sense run a pretty individualized program. Um, with the core of it though being um, good energy, juju, respect for one another, and everybody's own personal endeavors. So um, I like the balance that I think we're bringing. I think we're trying to do right by every single person and what's important to them. Um, and on top of it, knock on wood, we're having a bit of fun too. So
Yeah,
it's all good.
that's when you know things are clicking on all cylinders. And for you, obviously, again, we're still in February. Yes, it's a national indoor championship, but still so early in the process. What does this team need to do on court, off the court, whatever it may be the best version of themselves come the end of the year?
I think really being mindful of the little things. I mean, I think this is a marathon. What these kids need to realize, it's not a sprint. So as important and prestigious as this event is, um, I've been at it multiple times when I worked with Coach Joffe, and that's what we really loved about this event is it was a good litmus test on where we stack up, but also, in stuff we're doing well, but then stuff that really does need improvement. And I think for this group, we're not short by any stretch on talent. I think we do have ways to go in terms of our diligence in some of the other aspects of looking after ourselves and physically taking care of our bodies the right way, being on top of all other little things, whether it's school, whether it's personal stuff. That's just going to put them in the best position to be successful um, this weekend, but ultimately, to your point, when we get a little later on in the season.
I pride myself as college tennis historians. The difference between 22 Texas at indoors and what you guys were when we were back here for the national championships, just crazy. Because again, in 21, it was you guys and me, the only people who got to see that national indoors, and
Mm-hmm.
you kind of knew it in the moment. But man, yeah, it was a testament to the improvements that can be made between now and then. And for you personally, where do you think you've improved most here as you enter? I believe it's what, year 3 now on the job.
Yeah,
What's the
crazy.
difference between year 3 and year 1?
Um, I think I'm still drinking out of a fire hose, but I've gotten used to the water pressure.
Okay.
Uh, no, in all seriousness, it's I think I've just gotten a bit better at delegation.
Okay.
Honestly, to a certain extent, you go into first time as a head coach. You kind of want to do everything for everyone and put your stamp on everything and everything. And at a certain point, you just can't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm incredibly fortunate. I have, everybody's going to say they have the best assistant coach or associate head coach in the country. Um, but I think I believe that personally for me.
Mhm.
What Chris and even Rebecca, who's our grad assistant, would they bring to the table for me, but for more importantly for our student athletes, um, what they've been able to help me with, whether it's recruiting, whether it's on court development stuff, whether it's paperwork that I don't want to handle. It's just been a really good working relationship that I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, no, and the success speaks for itself. My last three for you, for fans tuning in, and maybe they're tuning in from afar, maybe they're tuning in from Baton Rouge, wherever it may be. in this era in particular, obviously, I know fan engagement is so important. What is something, if a fan comes to you and they say, hey, how can I support this program? What's something you would want them to know the best way they can do that?
I think these kids work incredibly hard, and I think every coach here would say that about every one of their kids and their programs. I do think that it's all relative, but I think we're lacking a little bit in terms of butts in seats
Sure.
and attendance. So I think that more than anything for our kids to look up and see people spurring them on, or even heckling, right? Like it can
Sure.
kind of go both ways, but I
Yeah.
think that engagement, personal interaction, if you want to call it that, whether we're at home or whether we're on the road, I think it I know it means the world to our group. I
Mhm.
think it hopefully a lot of coaches would echo the same sentiment.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And again, obviously, certainly you're giving them some fun things to see. My last few ones for you. Electronic line calling here this year at these national indoors. What do you make of
Yeah,
that, and how excited are you to see it tested out?
I'm very intrigued.
Yeah.
Um, I know there's a demo that
Mhm.
I'll either send Chris or maybe I'll tune in on a little bit later.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think if anything we can do to, you hate to say it, eliminate the margin of error
Mhm.
and make the sport as um, appropriate or fair,
Yeah.
and really give the kids clarity
Mhm.
more than anything, and coaches for that matter, because we can all get caught up in the heat of the moment of stuff too. But to definitively have a machine tell you, yeah, the ball was out or the ball was in, I think it's going to be wonderful on a lot of levels.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it certainly. Well, last two, and again, first interview. We'll see how the reception for coaches is moving forward to these two questions. But I always like to have fun with you guys
Okay.
when I have you in this chair. And, again, in that spirit for these final two, a lot of pro success right now. Schneider, Stearns, Soon, Kessler, all these players who played in the 2020s. Can't pick someone on the LSU Tiger roster. Who's next? If you had to point to one name across the country, say, look out for this future top 100 player,
Oh
who would you
wow,
pick and why?
wow.
I'd like to put you on the spot here. You'll like the next one even more.
You talking about a lady? Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Um, Singles or doubles?
I'll take either. A lot of good options.
I've listened to you probably more than you care to know.
So is a
I,
Vidmanova take coming?
no,
Okay.
you and this might come as a curveball to you, but I completely agree. And maybe I'm sidestepping it a little bit. I think it's a lock as long as she continues to play. I think Savannah Brodus is going to be
I like it.
like could be top 10 in the world in doubles.
It's that good. It's that explosive.
Yeah.
I know. I completely. Great answer. Yeah, you're pandering to the crowd. A job well done by you. Well, then here's my last one. And again, I'm hoping coaches have fun with this today. I think they will. I feel like I've earned that sort of slack from you guys. Just in the spirit of college tennis fans are tuning in, they want a grasp of, hey, who are the teams I need to follow, the rosters, etc. You can trade jobs for this season with any coach across the country, with the usual disclaimers of course, you'd pick your team. You're so excited to be at LSU. We all know that.
Okay.
You can trade rosters, trade jobs with any one coach here this season. Who you picking and why?
Not to answer a question with your question, but like
It's a good.
on the female side or on the male
I'll
side?
take either way.
Um, to be honest with you, he won't like me saying this, but I was coached by Sam Paul, who's the
Yeah.
head coach at UNC,
Sure.
and he's still like he's my second dad,
Yeah.
so we converse a lot. He loves working with the guys that
Yeah.
he is at the moment, and so I don't really know all the nuances of
Yeah.
a lot of the other teams that are here, a lot of other men's programs. So I think just being a little bit more intimate and being an alum and having that connection with Sam, I'll take his word for it. If he says he's loving the group that he has and he's working with, then I'd probably slide into his shoes and take that on.
That's a great answer. I appreciate hearing it, and certainly I always appreciate your tolerance of my nonsense. Coach Taylor Fogman, congratulations. Oh, I forgot the last one. A successful national indoors for the Tigers looks like what?
I think for me, I mean the girls will probably hear this later this evening. Um, if we can continue on the path of every match getting just a little bit better, that could mean in doubles, it could mean in singles, it could mean how we're carrying ourselves. If we can look back at this event and say we've done that to any decimal point, it's going to be a success for me. I know that much. And with the group that we have and their ability, I'd like to think the results will follow.
I love to hear that. Well, again, Coach Taylor Fogelman, congratulations on getting the Tigers to this event, and obviously looking forward to seeing your team's continued growth this season. Appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us here this morning.
Alex, thanks, man.
Yep.
Always fun.
Yep. Perfect.